Three investors put in the exact same $10,000 10 years ago. Today, their results are completely different. The real question is, why do most investors pick the wrong one and only find out when it's too late? Today we're breaking down 3 dividend ETFs that look nearly identical on the surface. Schwab's SCHD, Vanguard's VYM, and iShares DGRO. All 3 pay dividends, invest in stable American companies, and charge incredibly low fees. So far, so similar. But the differences between these 3 funds have cost ordinary investors tens of thousands of dollars over the past decade. Most people never understand why they chose wrong until years have passed and the damage is already done. I'm not here to tell you which one is best. That word means nothing without knowing your situation. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which ETF matches your actual financial life, not the one you imagine. Meet David. He's 32, works in tech support, and earns about $70,000 a year. David has student loans, a car payment, rent, and a dream of buying a house someday. David reads online that dividend investing is the smartest way to build wealth, and he's completely sold on the idea. He searches best dividend ETF and sees the same 3 names appearing everywhere: SCHD, VYM, and DGRO. He compares the yields. VYM pays 3%, DGRO pays 2.4%, SCHD pays 3.5%. David thinks, obviously, SCHD. Higher yield means more money in my pocket every single quarter. Simple, right? He puts $5,000 into SCHD, leans back, and feels like he just made a brilliant decision. Now meet Sarah. She's 48, works in healthcare administration, and earns around $90,000 a year. Sarah has been investing for 20 years, mostly in growth stocks, and she's built a solid portfolio doing it. But with retirement 15 years away, she's ready to shift towards stability and reliable income. Time to rethink. She searches the same thing David searched and lands on the same 3 names: SCHD, VYM, and DGRO. But Sarah doesn't stop at yield. She digs deeper and looks at total return over the past 10 years. The numbers: SCHD returned about 14% annually, VYM about 11%, DGRO about 12%. One clear leader. Sarah picks SCHD too, but her reasoning is completely different from David's. She wants growth and income combined. Both David and Sarah chose the same ECF, but one of them made a serious mistake. Can you tell which one? To find out who made the mistake, we need to understand what these 3 ETFs actually do differently under the hood. Let's start with VYM, the Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF. It's built around one core priority: high current income. VYM holds over 400 stocks. It's one of the most diversified dividend funds you can buy today. Inside VYM, you'll find names like JP Morgan, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, and ExxonMobil, true blue chips. These are mature, established companies. They don't grow explosively, but they pay steady, consistent dividends year after year. VYM yields around 3% and has maintained that steadiness for decades. It rarely surprises you, good or bad. The annual fee is just 0.06%. On $10,000, that's $6 a year. Basically nothing. VYM is the boring but reliable choice. Think Honda Accord. It gets you where you're going. Every time. No drama. Now let's look at DGRO, the iShares Core Dividend Growth ETF. This one plays a very different game. DGRO isn't chasing the highest yield available today. It's focused on companies that grow their dividends every single year. Imagine your dividend payment increasing automatically year after year without you doing anything. That's DGRO's entire strategy. DGRO's top holdings include Microsoft, Apple, JP Morgan, United Health, and Home Depot. Growth-oriented names with rising payouts. Microsoft's current yield is only around 0.75%. That sounds low, but it's growing fast, very fast. Microsoft has increased its dividend by over 10% annually for 5 straight years. That's the power DGRO is buying. DGRO's current yield is lower, around 2.4%, but the future value of that income is much higher. The fee is 0.08% annually, fractionally more than VYM, but still basically free to own. DGRO is for the investor who says, I don't need maximum income today, I need income that grows over time. Now let's talk about SCHD, the Schwab U.S. Dividend Equity ETF. This one stands apart because of quality screening. SCHD holds only about 100 stocks, much more concentrated than VYM or DGRO, but deliberately so. Before a company enters SCHD, it goes through a strict quality filter. Most companies that apply simply don't make it in. SCHD screens for strong cash flow, low debt, high return on equity, and at least 10 years of consistent dividends. The result? Holdings like Pfizer, Verizon, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and Merck. Not glamorous, but financially rock solid. These companies aren't the fastest growers in the market, but when storms hit, they don't flinch. That matters enormously. SCHD's yield sits at around 3.5%, higher than both VYM and DGRO, and the quality is there too. SCHD's fee matches VYM exactly at 0.06%. You're getting more quality for the same low cost. Here's the paradox. SCHD has higher yield than DGRO, similar concentration to VYM, yet it's outperformed both significantly. The reason? SCHD's quality screen filters out companies likely to cut dividends during downturns. It protects you before problems start. Let's do the math. $10,000 invested equally in each ETF in January 2014, with all dividends reinvested. VYM grew to approximately $24,000 over that decade, solid, stable, and completely predictable. No bad surprises. DGRO did a little better, growing to about $26,000 thanks to compounding dividend growth over time. But SCHD? It grew to approximately $32,000, significantly ahead of both, on the exact same starting investment. That's an $8,000 gap between SCHD and VYM from the same $10,000. That gap is real money. So if SCHD has outperformed both, why doesn't everyone just buy it and stop overthinking the decision entirely? Here's the real problem. Most investors don't actually understand what they need. They invest for the portfolio they imagine, not the real one. If you're 30 years old and retiring in 35 years, you don't need high income today. You need massive future growth. For a young investor, DGRO might actually be the smarter pick because Microsoft and Visa will compound dramatically over decades. If you're 55 and retiring in 10 years, you need both income and stability. SCHD's quality focus fits that perfectly. If you're already retired and living off dividends, VYM's broad diversification and reliable yield offer the most day-to-day comfort. David's mistake wasn't choosing SCHD, it was choosing it for the wrong reason. Yield, when yield isn't what he needs yet. At 32, David looked at the percentage and ignored his 30-year timeline completely. That's a very expensive blind spot. David should have chosen DGRO and let those dividend increases compound quietly for the next 3 decades. Massive difference. Sarah, on the other hand, got it exactly right. Closer to retirement, focused on quality and income. Perfect match. The financial industry loves ranking things as best because rankings get clicks, but rankings without context are dangerously misleading. There is no single best dividend ETF. There is only the right one for your age, timeline, and income needs. A 25-year-old buying SCHD for yield is making the same fundamental error as a 65-year-old buying DGRO for growth. Both ETFs are excellent. Both will likely make you money, but only one will make you significantly more based on timing. Here's the one question that cuts through all the noise. When do I actually need this money to start working for me? If the answer is 30 years from now, lean toward DGRO. Let those dividends double and triple before you ever touch them. If the answer is 10 to 20 years, SCHD makes sense. You want quality companies that won't disappoint when it counts. If the answer is right now, you're already retired, VYM stability and diversification give you the broadest safety net available. The smartest investors don't ask which is best. They ask, which is best for me right now, given my actual situation? That's the real difference between chasing trends and methodically, quietly building lasting wealth over time. And remember, you don't have to pick just one. Many investors split their portfolio across 2 or even all 3 funds, half SCHD and half DGRO. 2/3 VYM, 1/3 SCHD. There's no rule, only what fits your goals. Whatever you choose, choose it for the right reason, not because someone on the internet told you it was the best. If this helped you think more clearly about dividend investing, hit like and subscribe for more breakdowns without the hype. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.